Welcome back. Today I want to talk about some things about people pleasing and control. I'm pretty excited about it. Okay, first and foremost, welcome to Scorpio season. Scorpio season. Woo! Okay, Scorpio is a water sign, but there's an aspect of Scorpio that it's like fire, right? It's like the fire in water. It's like, I don't know how to, it's like, okay, like a hurricane, it's like a force, but in water. So that's why Scorpio is really good at diving into the shadows. Scorpio is really good at uncovering truth. And it might not be the truths that you want to hear, but it's about shadow. It's about the shadow and shadow work. And seeing things, breaking through upper limits, seeing things from a different point of view, and being like, fuck, yeah, that's been unconsciously ruling me for X amount of years. Scorpio's crazy. I used to dread Scorpio season because I would always uncover stuff. But I guess that's still when I was afraid of pain. So, like, if you think about it, being afraid of pain and then uncovering truth about probably painful patterns within you, taking responsibility for how you've been acting, how you've been showing up, and then when you see that you haven't been showing up, like, in a way that makes you feel good, then you're like, oh, fuck. Or you find out some truths about the collective, or you find out some truths about the world, or the plan, the agenda, the collective agenda, and, timelines and all that. Last Scorpio season, I read Conversations with Nostradamus. Okay, so that was crazy, and if you feel like you want to dive into some shit, I would read that book. It's by Dolores Cannon. Okay. Scorpio season. What else? Okay, so a lot of things about control. Okay. And people pleasing. And how they kind of go hand in hand. If you are somebody who has always felt judged and ashamed of how you are because people have put you down, and because literally it's because of the programming. I'm gonna say it again, it's because of the fucking programming. It's so annoying. So we are programmed at a very young age for fear and control. Okay, act exactly how my parents want me to act. Don't step out of line because I get in trouble. And of course you're afraid to get in trouble. You're a fucking kid. They basically rule your life. You don't have decisions of your own to make. Then you go to school. Then school exerts all this fucking control over you. And then, not just that, but tries to indoctrinate you with the fucking bullshit that they call education, and then tell you how to act. And then if you don't act right at school, then you get a call to home, and then you get in trouble. And so fear. So I can't act how I want to act because I'm having all this control exerted over me, and it's fucked up. So now you have to make sure that you're doing things right. You're acting in the ways that are going to make it okay for you to have your freedom, which is like a basic human fucking right? Is this America land of the free? Because it doesn't feel or seem like it to me. Anyways, so they exert their control over you, and then when you rebel, you get in trouble from the office, from your parents, and then either go into a shutdown mode where you just kind of give up because you feel like you're not good enough, or you become hardened by your experiences and you're closed off and you're guarded and you're armored up. And then you spend a lot of time not knowing who you are because you're too busy pleasing everybody around you, that Because then, okay, now that you're out of the childhood dynamic of it all, you have this instilled in you. You have this programmed in you. And so it's an unconscious pattern running rampant on your life, and you don't even realize it. And then so you're doing all these things to make everyone else happy without looking at what you want. And then you're allowing these people to exert control over you. You're acting in the ways that they want you to act, instead of saying, no, this is how I'm going to act and this is who I am, because you're afraid of people not liking you. Now let's think about that. You're afraid of people being upset because when your parents were upset and they weren't happy with you, you got in trouble. Okay. What's the worst that could happen if someone doesn't like you? Who the fuck cares? I used to spend a lot of time people pleasing, and it was exhausting. And I wanted everyone to like me, and I did that to myself because I felt like I had to prove something to myself, because nobody liked me before. And so if people liked me, then I would be worthy. And if I could, I don't know. I was trying to prove my worth to myself, instead of being like, hey, I'm already worthy. I exist. Also, a big thing for me is like, I love peace. I'm so happy when things are at peace. And when everyone's getting along. So I always try to play like peacekeeper and like want everyone to get along. And it's just a little bit unrealistic, especially because there's so many different personality types. Like, I don't know if you guys watched The Chosen, but even like the disciples that were following Jesus, they're always butting heads. They're always, they all have well-meaning, but they don't always agree on everything. They don't always like have peace. And I guess that's what also makes it so good to experience peace when you do get to, because it's like when everyone's getting along and laughing and having a good time, and it's so joyful to see, and it's so harmonious to see, and that's why you're grateful for it. Because if you had it all the time, you probably wouldn't be very grateful for it, would you? So people pleasing is abandoning yourself for others and allowing people to exert their control over you. Now, this is not just physical, and people can energetically try to pull on you. If you have already spent a amount of time pleasing said person, then you have an energetic bond to them, and then they can pull on your energetic cords to have you act a way that they want you to act. And it's like an idea comes in your head and you're like, I should do that, but it's actually not coming from you. It's actually coming from somebody pulling on your cord, and you're unconsciously doing that because of your people pleasing pattern. And then you just give in, and you didn't even want to do that in the first place. And then like you'll start to realize when it happens, because you'll be like, you'll hear like another person be like, I was just thinking of that, or like, and then eventually you'll start feeling it. The more conscious and aware you become of it, the more you can see it in bigger and bigger ways. So the ability to not act when you feel there, like the ability to heal urgency, the urgency of having to do something right when you think of it, because sometimes it's not even yours, and then you have to use the discernment of what's mine versus what's others. What do I actually want to do right now? Do I want to sit, watch TV, and fucking chill? Maybe. So I probably don't want to do what I'm thinking I want to do. So, the control thing. All right. Like, the school still tries to control. Like, the school, my daughter's in the school system. The school doesn't just try to control her. They try to control me, how I am as a parent. Like, I don't like that. I'm going to be the parent that I'm going to be, and you're not going to tell me how to parent, and I'm not going to force and exert control over my daughter. Everyone has a path to move. Everyone has patterns to heal. Everyone has things that they came in with that they have to rectify. And just like any of us, our kids are also on their journeys, their soul missions. They have a path too. And by teaching them that they need to be a certain way because someone says so, it's not right. You need to be who you are and learn to work with your patterns. My daughter has very bad anxiety, so I get her gum because her nails would be so bad. So I get her gum because it helps her more and she can focus more. And then the school's like, oh, she can't have gum. Well, I'm her mom and I said she can have gum. So if you guys want to get her in trouble for that, that's your fucking problem, not mine. I'm not going to stop buying my kid gum. That's what we've worked out. So that's another thing. It's like you really have to stand in who you are. You really have to stand in your beliefs. Because this society, this fucking world will try to push their beliefs on you over and over and over again. Because you don't even fucking know what your beliefs are. And when you don't know what your beliefs are and you don't know who you are at your core and your values, then you're just like a leaf in the wind, right? You're just so easily influenced. You gotta work on the belief system and values. It's so crucial, especially in this world that just has people wanting to exert control. And you don't even see it half of the time. And then you're like, well, I value that I'm a good person, so I'm going to do this. And it's like, every time you do something out of guilt or pity, you're abandoning yourself. Anytime you do something out of guilt or pity, it usually doesn't end up working either way. Like, I would feel bad for people because other people didn't like them, so I would try to be nice and kind to them, and then it would backfire on me every single time. And then they would try to exert control over me. It's weird. Yeah, no. So instead of feeling bad for someone and trying to connect with them, how about you decide, I like the version of myself I am when I'm around this person, so I want to continue to connect with them. That's what I've been learning. And then sometimes those people are still going to have to be around, and they're going to, especially if they're jealous, because obviously they're seeing you growing and blooming, and then they will dismiss you and talk to everyone around you, but not you. And then they'll, I don't know, they'll be weird when you're connecting with other people that they connect with, like jealous shit. And then you're like, this is weird, but I'm going to continue to do my own thing because they obviously have their own patterns to heal too. And that's just not what I resonate with or choose to interact with anymore. You don't need to please everyone. Everyone doesn't need to like you, especially if you're here for something greater, like breaking down systems of control. Okay. Compassion and forgiveness. Okay, another thing. We don't want to make these people the enemy. They are patterned. They are programmed. They are unconscious. Once again, Jesus says, forgive them for they know not what they do. We have to remember this. Like, you can't level up without something around you that's pushing you into that new heights, right? Like, you're not going to level up if you're just comfortably in peace all the time. I have compassion for myself and for those around me. And I'm not saying not to be a good person. And if you feel inspired to help someone, absolutely do that. Absolutely go for that. But if you don't and you feel like you don't feel inspired to do that, then don't do it. I let go of anger, resentments, and torments from the past, and I do not give my power away to those involved. So a lot of times, you know, like I'm saying, we want to start getting mad at the system and how everything is, but instead we can just take our power back. Forgive. We have to forgive. What's happened has happened. There's no room to hold on to anger. You just have to operate now in the system by standing your ground, right? Because when you're mad and angry and you're triggered, you are giving your power away. You don't want to be mad at the system because the system is helping you level up. It's in a spiritual way. Having strong people pleasing, the people that have taken you for granted are teaching you how to have stronger energetic boundaries, how to become who you are and stand in your frame. There's always something to be grateful for. We don't have to look at this as like there are enemies around us, okay? We can all figure this out. Forgiveness is a gift I give to myself. I forgive myself for things I could have done differently in the past. And I remind myself that my response could not have been any more evolved than it was at that time. Forgiveness of self is very important. Especially because, yes, you were patterned and programmed too. And yes, you probably did shitty things. And you probably tried to exert control over others. And you probably even tried to exert control over yourself. And you were patterned you were unconscious. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. Forgive you, for you knew not what you did. Forgiveness, love, gratitude. This version of you taught you what version you want to be. Love that. Accept that. These people, they're not your enemies. They're like you're stepping. They're like helping you to step up. I don't know how to explain this. What I'm feeling. It's like a rubber band. Like they pull you down so you can launch up, right? So they're like the rubber band. I am compassionate to those in need, as this shows them that they are not alone. I practice this by listening, sharing, understanding, and being of service. That's a great one. So I think what this message is trying to get at is like, when we're people pleasing, because we have a tendency to be pissed off. We have a tendency to get fucking pissed because we've been people pleasing and we've been putting others before ourselves. That's not their fault. That's your fault. I'm sorry, but you're going to have to take accountability for your actions. You're overburdened because of you, not because of them. You're overburdened because you haven't said no. You're overburdened because you want everyone to like you. And we don't have to treat them like villains. They're people too. They're growing too. So you don't have to overgive, but you can still give. You can still give like an ear, like a nice word, a laugh, a smile. You can give without feeling like you're overgiving, because the burden comes from the overgiving. Self-discipline. My self-discipline and willpower will significantly help me in my efforts to move forwards and grow. So that's another thing. Self-discipline is super important, especially with this, because we can get carried away and looping, and the ability to not act on things like that you know aren't good for you is also a form of self-discipline. The ability to let your ego die. So one of the girls I was watching earlier was like, let the ego flail, because that's another form of control. You're trying to control whatever it is in your mind that you feel like you need to control. Your ego's like, oh, no, go do this, and this, because we'll get this outcome. No. How about you just rest? How about you've been doing a lot of things for a long time, and you could just rest and chill and, like, do something that's going to feed your soul. Find some soul food. I am free of the need for the approval of others. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Do you really want approval from unconscious people in their own patterning? Or do you want approval from the highest of the high? Which is also you. So you want to make sure you're doing things that you approve of, the divine approves of. We don't want to self-sabotage either. Self-sabotage happens a lot. I face each challenge with determination and courage, and I am determined to live my life to its full potential. Yeah, so take action steps when you're inspired, but make sure it's coming from your heart and not from your head. So sometimes, like I said, with that energetic cord pulling, and you feel like it's up here, it's maybe not even coming from you. Yours is going to come up. Yours is going to come up and be like, you know what, I want to do this. And there's going to be like a little excitement or a feeling attached to it, not just like, oh, I should do this. I am strong and capable. My actions speak louder than my words. That's another good one. Move in silence. You don't need to always be telling people what you're doing, especially if there's people around you who want to not to see you happy, or they don't want you to move on because they're benefiting from you being in a lower space. Just keep acting Keep focused on your confidence. Keep taking action steps towards what it is that you're trying to create or manifest, and sometimes you have to protect it. Like sometimes you have to protect that manifestation and don't tell anybody about it, and just slowly give to it, and it'll come about. But it's a gradual process. Seeds take time to sprout. Flowers take time to bloom. Everything in nature takes time. And just, are you willing to put the time and dedication, the effort and consistency in to make that dream a reality without allowing other people to get in your head or, things like that. And also sometimes there's guilt that's associated with doing what's best for you and moving on from people, especially if you have over loyalty towards them. If you feel like they have done something for you and now you're like loyal beyond all fucking logic or reason, the divine send people into your life to help you, and it's not always permanently. Sometimes it's temporarily. And if we're just holding on to the fact that this person did this one thing for us and we're so grateful and now we have to overgive to them for the rest of our lives, that's so silly. That's not right. Guilt will have you feeling bad about doing things that are right for you, that are when you're pulling away from others, but it's something that has to be overcome. It's a sacral chakra issue. Sometimes I still feel guilt about doing what I want or choosing me, and because sometimes people try to tell me how to live and how to be, and I'm going to do what I want to do. I don't care. I'm going to do what I want to do, regardless of what anyone else says. Because my intuition is guiding me, because that's my soul's compass. And they don't know what my soul journey is. And they don't know where I'm going. And then there's, guilt, there's shame. These are just patterns that we can look at. We have to learn to let go. It's a good time to weed things out of your life that you don't need, especially things that are keeping you stuck in a energy of so there's two sides to this coin. If you're an overactive person and sometimes you need to sit down and be inactive, or if you're a person who chills a lot and now it's like maybe you were also going through a hermiting phase in your healing journey, and it's time to rise up and work on that action-oriented side of it. So you can get going and you can get started on living your life and your experiences. Are you lost in content? Are you lost in meditation? Or are you living your life, your human experience? Okay, so we have the Five of Wands in reverse. It says, are you struggling with a personal decision? Maybe you're feeling regret over a mistake you made. Don't be so hard on yourself and trust things will work out in the end. See? I want to see what this is. I'm sorry. What are you being hard on yourself about? Everyone's growing and changing and learning. And we can't be judgmental towards others, and we can't be judgmental towards ourselves. We're doing the best we can. We have so much more room to grow. I'm feeling guilty about letting go of something that you've worked very hard on emotionally. Okay. Or an ending? But it's something that you wanted, that you manifested, and you worked really hard on. Oh, and now you're unhappy with it. Oh, okay, that's happened to me before. Where it's something you manifested and you got it and you were... I mean, it's either this. You could have been happy for a certain amount of times and now you don't want it anymore. Now you're feeling guilty for that. Or it could be that you manifested in something that you wanted and you got it, but you don't feel satisfied with it. You're like, well, I thought I wanted this. Now that I have it, like, I still feel empty. Maybe you're trying to fill a void. Maybe you're trying to fill a void and it didn't work. Whatever it is not working. But you're feeling guilty about it. And you have to make a choice. Yeah, it's a choice to cut something out. Cut something out that's making you feel angry or your temper. And to look at it honestly from an honest perspective and say it's like not, it's making you feel so small. And like something's exerting control over you. Look at this card. Do you see that? Like, this is what I'm getting. Like, this little bunny here is you. And then there's something that queen represents that has control over you. And it's making you so sad. Can you see him? And it's time to cut that out and to go after what you want. Get in your ship and go. You have a whole world of opportunity that's awaiting for you. The world literally is your oyster. You're healing. You're doing what you need to be doing. Don't feel bad about things that you have to say goodbye to. Like, even people, like, I remember I had this friend who, and to me it felt like the first person who really accepted me and I opened up to, and I felt that, this friend was so special. And then I started seeing, what happens is I started outgrowing her. And then I felt bad about outgrowing her, but it's just a part of life. You just have to keep finding things that resonate with you. Yeah, exactly. So make a choice, make a clear decision to go after what it is that gives you that sense of childlike wonder, curiosity, and happiness, that joy, that feeling that you got of the warmth of childhood, like the happy times. That's what you want to go after. But you have to look at what it is that's going to bring that in. I'm going to pull 2 more, and then I'm going to get a Spirit Ally, Angels, and Ancestors, and I think I'm going to call it. Oh. Heartbreak. Betrayal. Ooh. Okay, I have to get another one for that one. What's associated with the heartbreak and betrayal spirit? It's deception. It's feeling that you need to defend yourself. It's feeling that you need to have your guard up. It's feeling like you're injured. Like you're injured and you have your armor up. But the momentum and the creativity of going after what you want can help you to get that stuck energy moved through, that heartbreak. Like, I suggest doing something that you can see yourself in a new light, because if you're really down on yourself, you're really in your head, you're really not seeing yourself, you need to take a look at who you are, opposed to, like, let's say 5 years ago. Who were you 5 years ago and who are you now? Go back and reflect on these things, and you can feel better about yourself and your decisions, knowing that, yeah, maybe you're not exactly where you want to be, and you can't just jump from here to here, because you got to take those little steps to get up higher, 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 and you're already doing it, but you're not seeing that. And that's probably why you're outgrowing the situation. But you're too afraid to leave it because you're stuck in your familiarity. Not everything is as it seems. Look deeper. Secrets, betrayal. Okay, I'm going to leave that there because I don't even want to go into that more. You know what it is for you. You know what needs to be done. And I don't need to sit here and lecture you about it. Okay. All right, thank you, Spirit, for the messages. And let's get a Spirit Ally card. The bat. I love that because it's almost Halloween. I remain flexible in life. As the moon rises, Bat emerges from its cave and takes to the star-filled sky, relying on its senses. Bat understands the importance of being aware of your surroundings and moving quickly in case of obstructions. Navigating through the darkness is no easy feat, but with gifts graced by the universe, it can be done. The Bat has flown in to remind you that no matter what problems you may face in life, it's all up to you to determine the outcome. We are often faced with certain situations over and over because there is still a lesson to be learned. Let Bat lead you through these moments and encourage you to be quick on your feet. Journal about your experiences so that you can recognize similar situations and be prepared to change the outcome. Awaken your intuition and let it act as your guide, noticing what you feel immediately when making quick decisions. Through this, you will learn your life lessons and in turn find blessings coming your way. Recall when your intuition has kept you on the right path. How did you know what to do? Yeah, so it's about you need to learn how to fly in the darkness. So the thing about awakening is like we realize that we're still here in the dark. And listen, the dark is divine too. It's sacred too. It's a part of this whole freaking thing. You can't, it's a balancing act, and you can't heal anything if you don't have anything to heal. You can't be grateful for things if you never went through anything tough. Two ends to the same coin. We always want to judge ourselves and others, but it's just, let's just think of it like this. Let's just get closer to unconditional love for self. How can you love yourself more unconditionally? How can you show up for yourself? What can you weed out of your life that's holding you back or making you feel small? Water Guardian. Connect with your emotions. Take time to understand how you really feel. Know that your sensitivity is not a curse but a gift that allows you to receive and understand messages directly from your soul. Water is the element that is in your blood, your tears, and your flesh. The Water Guardian represents the angels of water, who can help you dive within to understand the depth of your emotion. These angels are all about helping you see that your emotions aren't just the feelings that are on the surface. They are also the old emotions you may have locked deep within the shadows of your soul. Through helping you acknowledge your deepest emotions, the angels of water help you to hear the messages these have for you, and to unlock your intuitive powers and the energies of abundance. Your angels want you to know that it's okay to feel these emotions that are surfacing in you at this time. It doesn't matter if they are joyous or sad. They are all powerful messengers that will allow you to understand what you want and what you need. Taking time to breathe and acknowledge them lets them flow through you rather than crashing down over you as an overwhelming wave. Note that there are also intuitive psychic messages arising in you at this time, and unless you acknowledge everything as it comes up, you may miss important guidance that can lead you to support and love. Okay, time to tap into your emotions, time to get aware of what's going on inside of you, what unconscious patterns are playing out. If you have heartbreak that you've stuffed down, that will unconsciously be playing things out in your life that are going to lead to disappointments, betrayals. Go back in, forgive the initial root cause of that, and you can do like what I told you about the technique in the last video, the rock throwing. You can do the Ho'oponopono prayer. You can journal. There is no past and there is no future. There is only the present moment now. If you're being weighed down by the past, it's a little bit arduous. So the thing is that you're all constantly shifting timelines as you heal. So what is weighing you down from the past may not have even happened in this timeline. That's why sometimes your memories and other people's memories don't match. They're not the same. It's because you guys are on different timelines and different things happened. And the past version of you that might have went through that was on a completely different timeline, and now you're mad at a different version of a different person who, I don't know. You see how it gets complicated? But the vibrational frequency that you're feeling from somebody that's right in front of you, that is in your reality, you know if it resonates with you or not. You know if that person should be in your life or not. You know if you're trying to please them, if they're trying to get their approval or validation. You know that. So we're trying to grow. We're trying to make sure our environment is supportive of our growth. And that means picking out things that don't support our growth, picking out people that don't support our growth, and picking out patterns that don't support our growth. I'll see you in the next one. Oh, if you want a tarot reading, a personal one, you can email me at cosmicfractaloflight@gmail.com. See you in the next one.